Without a healthy mind, being truly happy and at peace is hard. The good news is therapy works. But what is therapy exactly? It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe you're not feeling motivated right now and would like some tools to help. Or maybe you're feeling insecure in relationships or at work, not dealing well with stress. Whatever you need, it's time to stop being ashamed of normal human struggles and start feeling better because you deserve to be happy. And now you don't have to worry about finding an in-person therapist near you to help. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Join the millions of people who are seeing what online therapy is really about. It's always a good time to invest in yourself because you are your greatest asset. And a special offer to ImmaLetYouFinish listeners, you can get 10% off your first month of professional therapy at betterhelp.com/ImmaLetYou, ImmaLetYou. That's betterhelp.com/ImmaLetYou, ImmaLetYou. Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this podcast.
What's up, everybody? It's ImmaLetYouFinish on the Pantheon Podcast Network with your host, Court and Amy. It's show 119.
Oh, my God.
The week before. It's the week after Election Day. The world didn't explode.
Well, Election Day seems to be going on like this is, I mean, come on.
I feel like it's been Election Day since 2015 when they started.
I really feel like it's nonstop.
It just won't stop. And I need it to stop. I need a fucking break.
Why can't they count? If I can put grades in, why can't they count this shit?
It's like, I can't go into just constant cycles of campaigns. It's too much in my fucking head.
Well, the important thing is that Herschel Walker said that if, we need these gas-powered cars because they give off the good emissions.
And that...
The good emissions.
What did he say about the United States is what? And the best country in America?
Yeah, it's the best country in America.
It's like, why? Why?
Listen, I had a mild concussion a few months ago, and I wasn't capable of walking down the street. I wasn't supposed to listen to loud music, and this man has CTE, and he wants to run for government office. But we digress. Speaking of brain damage, the Grammy nominations were announced today.
This morning.
Or what they call morning in LA.
Where they go, right.
Because we were already at 10 o'clock for a 7 a.m. announcement.
I was ready for the old school where the shits came at 8:30 in the morning.
Right, and they dragged the musician out of bed and said, read the teleprompter.
And read the teleprompter. Okay, so the nominations are out. Beyonce leads the charge with 9, followed by Kendrick with 8, and Adele and our favorite Brandi Carlile with 7 apiece. In this now, Beyonce's 9 now
got
ties.
More nominations than Harry Styles?
Yes. And Beyonce with 9 makes her tie for the most nominated artist of all time.
Which is sort of nuts. I'm sorry, but whatever. That's great. I mean, a lot of artists who were phenomenal never got nominated for Grammys and won, because the Grammys were very old-fashioned back in the day. So they're much hipper now. All right,
Mary J, Harry, DJ Khaled, Future, The Dream, and mastering engineer Randy Morel each have 6.
All right, I'm going to ask a question, and then we'll go over the album of the year. The Dream had an album out this year?
No, The Dream is a producer on Beyonce's
I know who the Dream is.
Mm-hmm.
You said The Dream. You were leading off the people in terms of how many nominations they have, because I was
who are leading. I read you who are leading
right.
with the biggest
All right.
numbers.
I don't think DJ Khaled should be fucking eligible for an award.
I mean,
an album of the year. Come on. Come on.
Listen.
What does he do? I know what he does, but I'm not.
Listen,
and he seems like a
as
nice
a Christian
guy.
woman, I'm just going to say,
I mean, come on, man.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I have
But
a friend
I just
that
don't
works
think
for him, or he treats him really
I've
well.
heard he's great. I've heard he's a great guy. That's not the point. We're not grading. We're not grading on the nice curve.
Okay.
Yeah, not. I mean, I understand they want to expand, and they have expanded the categories and expanded the, But
There's 45 nominees in every category.
But wasn't the Nas, the King's Disease 2 eligible this year, or was that only last year? I don't know. All right, let's go over the top the album of the year, which has 5,000 nominees. Okay. 5,000 nominees.
It's ABBA Voyage.
A joke. That's a joke.
I really like that album, but I did like that album.
It's a joke.
I know it's weird, but okay.
Yeah. All right.
Adele 30.
Okay.
Bad Bunny Un Verano Sin Ti.
Beyonce first Spanish language record ever to be nominated for album.
Mary J. Blige, Good Morning Gorgeous, the deluxe edition. Brandy Carlisle, In These Silent Days. Coldplay, Music of the Spears.
They had an album out this year?
Kendrick Lamar, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Okay.
Lizzo Special.
Okay.
And Harry Styles, Harry's House.
Okay. First off, did you hear? I didn't even hear the Mary J. record, and that's my fault for not hearing
it. I did.
How is it?
It's a Mary J. Blige record.
Is she going through growth?
And learning about herself.
She's learning about herself, and there's growth.
And she's really feeling and learning to love herself and look at herself.
Learning to love herself.
When you wake up in the morning, you say, look in the mirror and say, "Good morning,
hello,
gorgeous."
And got it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a Mary J. Blige record. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love Mary J. I will never say anything bad about Mary J., especially since I think if she saw me, she'd cut me. But that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I didn't even know Coldplay had a record out. I think that's one of those things they go, "Oh yeah, Coldplay," and they check.
And they had that huge single with BTS. Remember,
what for that alone, they shouldn't be nominated. Okay, so I think it comes down to between Brandy Carlisle is like the thinking man's of Melissa Etheridge at this point. We're tired of her. She's very talented. It's just her extracurricular activities that are driving us up the wall. But I know that she is very talented. And friends of mine who are kind of right about Americana and country have said that this is a well-deserved record, well-deserved artist. And she was kind of overlooked for years. So it's not like she's not worthy. I just don't think this is the year.
She's going to dig up Patsy Cline so she can produce her album.
I just don't think it's like, I know she's like the female Dan Auerbach at this point. I just don't think this is the year to give it to her. That said, here's what I think it's between. It's between Beyonce, Harry Styles, Bad Bunny, Adele, and Kendrick. That's it. In terms of artistic credibility.
Yeah.
Should have gotten it for the other record in Beyonce.
I think is the one to beat?
Well, Harry?
No, I actually think it's Bad Bunny.
I hope so. I hope so.
Look at the year, all of these artists got a tremendous amount of attention for their albums, including ABBA. Tremendous, right. And had number one albums around the world. But Bad Bunny, more than Renaissance, which is still top 10 around the world. But Bad Bunny stayed at number one in the U.S. It kept going back to number one. Mm-hmm. I believe that album was number one for like 9 or 10 weeks.
I think it was like 10 weeks at number one. Yeah.
For a non-English speaking album to do that, for him to be an artist who said, "I'm not going to cross into the American market having to do something different and do the obligatory. I'm going to try to make an English language record." That record was really huge. I don't think anybody saw it coming to be that big. And it is his time. While we all love the Harry Styles record, interestingly enough, you notice every time they try to get another single out of it, nothing has really had the same impact as it was. As it was such a strong single. I can see that winning in single category because it is massive, right?
And it's great. I mean, it's
and the
massive
album
and
is
it's great.
Really good. It is a really good album. But that song even eclipsed every song they've tried to come after.
No, it is.
So I don't think it's that. Bad Bunny, for me, he is the one to beat.
And he makes not that and I just want to add, he is an American artist. He's not.
Yes.
You said crossover.
I said,
I know what you mean. English speaking.
But I'm talking about. But he is. But crossing to this market, singing in Spanish is not going to be automatically played. And music from Puerto Rico does not just get funneled in our system.
No. But
I'm talking about crossing into this market, and he did it into
a pop market,
into a huge market, and has a record that stayed at number one, and that shows you that he has grown. That his original audience has come with him, and he has grown a mainland pop audience as well.
I think that if the Grammys, if NARS is interested in making a statement, which sometimes they are, and especially now that they have definitely done more outreach into people we know are now like on committees and voting. If they're interested in really making a statement, then Bad Bunny wins. Because that, as you said, this is a historic achievement, what he has done in terms of if he's interested in making a statement. If they're interested in giving, I mean, Harry Styles is great, but that is not an out of the box response to give it to the good looking white, English guy. It's a great record. I still will contend that this Beyonce record is they would give it to her because they didn't give it to her for Lemonade. The Adele record is really good. It's better than the record they gave it to her for, but I think she's been overshadowed. And what was the other one?
And she's won that twice already. This is what I think I absolutely believe that they will get, Beyonce is going to get, well, first of all, this makes me happy because all of the remixes I've done with her, nothing was really commercially available. I think like the mixes for some of the stuff from I Am Sasha Fierce was like Halo, but most of the mixes were not. So they were never eligible to be nominated for a Grammy. So seeing Break My Soul, the Terry Hunter's remix be nominated in the remix category and her being nominated in the dance album and dance single, I think she's going to get those. Because if you look at most of her Grammys, which is 20 some odd Grammys, they're always in the urban and the rap song categories and never in dance because none of the stuff is ever commercially available. Her making this dance record, I think they're going to give her like a best dance album.
Oh, for sure.
I love this record. I think it's a great album. Do I think this is the time they do it? I don't know, because I actually thought people always say that Lemonade was the one that they absolutely thought, oh my God,
I mean,
yes.
4.
Four to me is brilliant, right? But that's the one where the American Cup, they just fucked that whole campaign up. They really did. I thought the 2013 album that we dropped at midnight, the surprise album, was a great album. And those videos were great. That was the moment. And I was like, well, clearly, here's where you say, okay, you broke the internet, you broke the world. It's a great record. It's reviewed great. The videos are gorgeous. When it didn't happen there, and then it didn't happen for Lemonade, I have zero faith that for the black, gay-leaning dance record is the one where the Grammy.
Well, but this is also has gotten more mixed reviews. I mean, not that the Grammys go by that, but I really do think, and I mean, I'm being very idealistic because it's NARS. No matter how much they want to diversify it, it's still NARS, and you still have some old guy. But I really think that, like, Bad Bunny, nobody doesn't like Bad Bunny. He's across the board.
It's his time.
It's his time.
This one is his record. It's his
and Harry
time.
Styles is great, but I think that Harry Styles will get single or song of the year because it is.
Okay, so let's look at record of the year. Okay, so record of the year is ABBA, Don't Shut Me Down.
The producer,
well,
right?
Record is the award to artist and the producer.
Okay.
And recording engineer and or mixer and a mastering engineer, if other than the artist. Don't Shut Me Down, ABBA. Easy on Me, Adele. Break My Soul, Beyonce. Good Morning, Gorgeous, Mary J. Blige. You and Me on the Rock, Blandy Carlisle. And Woman by Doja Cat. I love that fucking song. Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. The Heart Part 5, Kendrick Lamar. About Damn Time, Lizzo. As It Was, Harry. See, this is a strong... Right, now it's Bad Habit could be a sneak attack.
Yeah.
That could be a sneak attack. Like, it's hard to say...
It's hard to say no one doesn't deserve it, you know?
Right. But it's also hard to say that it was a bigger record than As It Was when it came to singles, because that shit stayed number one. It came out in April, and I think it was still number one when summer rolled around.
Lasted longer than Liz Truss.
Right. Listen, when summer came around, shit was still a hit.
And you know what? You can hear it now, and it doesn't sound like, that song.
It still sounds good.
I told you I think I called you the second I heard. I went, I already have this thing memorized. I already have it in my head.
I mean, on first listen, when I first heard it, I was like, well, here it is.
Yeah,
it's always the third album. If you could get, as a single solo artist who comes out of a group, if you can get to your third album, the first one is successful. Okay, I beat the thing. The second one, if you can get the second one to be successful, where it's not the fluke of all of the fairy dust from the first album coming out of your group. Okay. Then the third album, you really get to start stretching your wings as an artist to say, this is who I am. So coming out the box with a single like that just dominated the fucking world for months.
And also defied genre in a lot of ways.
And I'm looking at some of these other ones, like, okay, we love Break My Soul. That grew on me, but that also took time to get to number one. And I feel like it did not jump to number one until she did the Queen's remix with Madonna. Good Morning Gorgeous, I like it, but is that one of Mary's best songs?
It's not one of Mary's best songs, no.
Woman by Doja Cat is great, but it also feels like that's still from that same album that she won for
100 years ago.
You know what I mean? Easy on Me. You know, it's a typical.
It's not my favorite song on the record,
and that also was number one for a lot of weeks. But it's going to be hard when I look at all of these. Even Bad Habit by Steve Lacy, which is amazing,
so good.
I
think this has been Harry's moment. The tour, even the gossip, even everything. Yeah. He's just he's in everybody's face, but nobody minds it. You know what I mean? Right. Nobody's like, get rid of him already. Adele. Yeah. All right. What's all
right? So
best new artist. You want to do?
Let's go. I'm reading because I have a list in front of me. So Song of the Year, which is a Songwriters Award, right? Okay. So we have Gail for ABCDEFU.
Whatever.
About Damn Time, Lizzo. All Too Well, Taylor Swift, and they love her. That's where they can give her.
They do love her.
As It Was. Bad Habit, Break My Soul, Easy on Me, God Did. Which is, Khaled.
And Jay-Z.
And The Heart, Part 5. And Just Like That, Barney Raitt.
Wait a minute. I love Barney. I do not want the poll quote to be, I love Bonnie Raitt, but that's a surprising throw. You know what?
It is, but you know what the fiercest thing about it is?
It's great. It's a great song.
I'm sitting here going through all of these things.
She could win.
All of these songs have a list of songwriters, except Taylor Swift only has 2 for hers. Liz Rose and Taylor Swift.
Harry has 3.
And Harry has 3, but Bonnie Raitt is songwriter. Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, she wrote this one? Yeah, they could go for it just to make a statement. Again, I think this is Harry's. I don't know if they'll give it for both of them, but I think they might give it more for production.
Yeah, this is going to be I think this is Harry's year where he's going to sweep those categories, because that song it was the song of the spring, it was the song of the summer, it's the song of the year. All right,
and it's the best song on the album. It's the best song on the album I think. All right,
best new artist. Anita.
Oh my God, there's 100 people on this fucking list.
Anita, Omar Apollo, Domi and JD Beck, Money Long, Samara Joy. I love Samara Joy. Her jazz work is amazing. Right. Lotto, Maneskin, Toby Ngawe, Molly Tootle, and Wet Leg.
I would love Wet Leg to take it.
I would love to see Toby snatch this or Samara Joy. I would not be upset if Wet Leg took it either.
Isn't Maneskin been around for quite some time?
No, didn't they win? They won like
the Euro thing a couple of years.
It's only they've just hit out the box, but they.
I would love Wet Leg, because Wet Leg would just be such a breath of fresh air. Omar Apollo's been around for some time too, but I understand it's like when you first become aware of them. I would love Wet Leg. I don't think they'll win it, but it would be very fun. I mean, they did make the most media splash.
Yeah,
everybody was talking about them for real. All right,
best pop solo performance. Easy on Me, Adele, Moscow Mule, Bad Bunny, Woman, Doja Cat, Bad Habit, Steve Lacy, About Damn Time, Lizzo, As It Was, Harry Styles.
Wait a minute, Steve Lacy is in the pop category?
Uh-huh.
All right. There's no
Well,
song I would.
he had a number one. The song went number one at the Hot 100.
No, I know.
Yeah.
There's not a
He's also nominated for Best Alternative R&B album.
Yeah. That's the one they'll give it to him. They'll give it to him for that.
This is going to be between Harry and they might, now that Lizzo is kind of a Grammy darling, they could give it to her for About Damn Time.
Yeah, it's not her best song though.
But it was a number one hit. It's not about, we're talking about best songs versus things that are a hit in today's marketplace.
Yeah.
And who's voting.
I would like, there's nobody I particularly object to on that one, All right, what else?
Best pop duo group performance. ABBA, Don't Shut Me Down.
I don't even, I'm sorry. That is just some fucking bullshit. The record it was not that good a record. It really wasn't.
I actually like the album. I'm shocked to see it here. I did like the album, but I am shocked to see it here. But I did like the ABBA album. I did.
Yeah. But it came and went. It was an event. It's not an album of any substance. With not that matters.
Bam Bam, Camila Cabello featuring Ed Sheeran. What?
What? Yeah, thank you. I thought I was the only one.
My Universe, Coldplay and BTS.
Oh, God.
And I Like You, a happier song, Post Malone and Doja Cat. And Unholy, Sam Smith and Kim Petras.
All right, I don't want to see Sam Smith ever again, but, I don't get them.
Best traditional pop vocal album. Higher, Michael Bublé. When Christmas Comes Around, Kelly Clarkson. I Dreamed of a Christmas Extended, Norah Jones. Evergreen, Pentatonics.
Oh, this is the Christmas album. Who cares about that? Move to the good categories.
And Thank You, Diana Ross.
That's a Christmas record?
No, this is Best Pop Vocal Album.
Oh, I thought it was a Christmas record. Okay. Yeah, I don't care about any of those people. All right.
Okay,
next.
Best Dance Electronic Recording. You don't have to read this because these are my people.
I know.
Break My Soul, Beyonce. Rosewood by Bonobo. Don't Forget My Love by Diplo and Miguel. I'm Good by David Guetta and BB Rexa. I still don't understand BB Rexa.
I have no problem with her.
Intimidated, Kate Sinatra featuring HER. This category, okay. Okay. It would be nice if, there was some more dance artists in this category.
Well, you mean like Beyonce getting nominated for a dance? I'm sorry, like Beyonce getting nominated for a dance award? You can't have it both ways,
my friend. Well, this was a dance record, but I mean, I know so many dance people.
I know.
I'm looking at Kate Trinata and Diplo. It's like they just picked names that they knew because so many real dance artists submitted.
No, of course, they don't make it to this point. It's the same thing.
They don't get to this point.
All right.
Even looking at the best dance electronic albums. Renaissance Beyonce, Fragments Bonobo, Diplo, The Last Goodbye Odessa, and Surrender Rufus De Soul. I'm going to try not to be upset. Okay, best rock performance.
No, nobody, just skip that. Nobody cares. Can you name a rock band?
Well, when I'm reading these, I'm like, Old Man by Beck. Okay. So Happy at Hearst by Bryan Adams. Is Bryan Adams rock?
Oh, what else would he be?
Easy listening.
No, I'm sorry. Not everything I do for you, rock. Old school. I love Bryan Adams is one of my guilty pleasures. You will not say anything bad about Bryan Adams. I will go to my grave defending early Bryan Adams. I love him. I don't care.
Okay. Wild Child by the Black Keys.
Ugh, them I don't love.
Broken Horses by Brandi Carlile.
What?
Miss Thing.
Take a seat, bitch.
Crawl by Idols and Patient Number 9, Ozzy Osbourne featuring Jeff Beck.
All right, this is only because Foo Fighters didn't make a record.
And Holiday by Turnstile. It does feel that way.
Oh, Turnstile's really good. Turnstile's like a punk band. They're like they're good, actually. Okay, the kids like them. Ben Merlis turned me. Hi, Ben. I know you always listen. Ben Merlis turned me on to Turnstile.
Okay, so best rock album. What do you think it is? Dropout Boogie, The Black Keys. Ugh. The Boy Named If, Elvis Costello and the Imposters. Crawler by the Idols. Mainstream Sellout by Machine Gun Kelly. Patient Number 9, Ozzy Osbourne. And Lucifer on the Sofa, Spoon.
Elvis. Maybe they'll give it to Elvis.
Okay. Best alternative music performance. There Better Be a Mirror Ball, Arctic Monkeys. Certainly Big Thief. King, Florence and the Machine. Shades Lounge, Wet Leg.
Wet leg, wet leg.
Spitting Off the Edge of the World. Yeah. Featuring Perfume Genius.
I only heard the Wet Leg record, so I'm going to go Wet Leg.
That was a great record. Best alternative music album. Okay. Arcade Fire. Dragon, New Warm
They're not going to
Mountain,
get it. They're not going to get it because of him.
Because of him. That's right.
They're not going to get it because of him. So we can just write that one off.
All right. Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You, Big Thief. Fasora, Bjork.
No, she's not going to get it.
Wet Leg. And the Cool It Down.
I think Wet Leg. I think they're the hip choice, and they got great press. All right, What else? Get to the rap category so I can get really pissed.
Let's go. Let's go. Best traditional R&B performance: Snow Allegra, Do I Love You, Babyface featuring LMA, Beyonce, Plastic Off the Sofa, Adam Blackstone featuring Jasmine Sullivan and Mary J. Best R&B song: Cuff It, Good Morning George. Good Morning Gorgeous itself as a song got a lot of recognition.
Yeah.
Hers and Hers by that's Mooney Long. Hurt Me So Good, Jasmine Sullivan, PJ Morton. Okay, best progressive R&B album: Corey Henry, Steve Lacy, Terrence Martin, Moonchild, Tank and the Bangers. I love Tank and the Bangers. Best R&B album.
It's Steve Lacy's. You can't
it's really
deny
interesting.
him.
Best R&B album, which they did not put Beyonce in any. They definitely, her nominations I've noticed are in the mainstream and then
or the dance
and then they pick certain songs for those R&B songs. So she did not get an R&B album nomination. It's Mary J, Chris Brown, Robert Glasper, Lucky Day, and PJ Morton.
They're not going to give it to Chris Brown. I think there's stank on him still.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know.
Best rap performance.
Ugh.
God Did, which is the Khaled. Right. Vegas, Doja Cat. Pushin' P, Gunna featuring Future and Young Thug.
That might get it.
FNF, Let's Go, Hit Kid and Glorilla. And The Heart Part 5, Kendrick.
I think that Pushin' P might get it because it was a huge single.
It was a huge single.
Yeah, I think that they might get it. But if you're a Grammy voter, you recognize Kendrick's name.
Right. Best melodic rap performance.
I never understood what that means, but okay.
Okay, they tell you for a solo or collaborative performance containing both elements of R&B melodies and rap.
Okay, so that's basically every goddamn rapper these days who sing songs. That's all the sing-songy rappers.
Please don't get me started.
That's all the sing-songy rappers.
I'm just a dancer from Peoria.
No.
Really. Beautiful, DJ Khaled featuring Future and SZA. Wait For You, Future featuring Drake and Tim's. That was a big record. First Class by Jack Harlow. Die Hard, Kendrick Lamar featuring Amanda Reefer and somebody else. And Big Energy Live by Lotto.
Live?
Yeah. I guess there's a live version?
There's a live version?
And they like that one best.
I was going to say, isn't that the live or deluxe thing they pull when they want to keep using the same record over and over and over again?
Oh, okay.
All right, give me the rap album.
Best rap songs. A Songwriters Award. A song is eligible.
There's 100 people in each song, right?
Yes. Churchill Downs, that's Jack Harlow featuring Drake. God Did. Kendrick with The Heart Part 5.
Okay.
Pushin' P, Gunna featuring Future. And Wait For You, Future featuring Drake and Tips. Okay, here we go. Best rap album. DJ Khaled, God Did. Future, I Never Liked You. Come Home Kids, We Miss You, Jack Harlow. Mr. Morell and the Big Steppers, Kendrick. And It's Almost Dry, Pusha T.
I would vote for Pusha T.
That would be the one, right? He's the fiercest, and it would be an upset.
It would be an upset because but I would vote for Pusha T. He's consistently the guy, but that would also give Kanye a Grammy. He's the producer. It's him and Pharrell are the producers on that album. Doesn't the producer get it too?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That might be the caveat.
I mean, it's like you don't want to
They might have to make him sign something. Hey, listen, we're going to give you the Grammy, but you can't thank him or bring him up here.
I mean,
but that would give him, I'm just saying, if they're going to be like, it's the art, not the artist. his work as a producer has never been the issue.
Now, here's another interesting one. Best comedy album. The Closer.
Are we up for it?
Dave Chappelle. Comedy Monster, Jim Gaffigan. A Little Brains, A Little Talent, Randy Rainbow. Scream, Patton Oswalt, and Sorry, Louis C.K.
They're not going to do it again with him. They fucked up so bad last year with that. They're not going to.
Did they? Because no one cared. He got it.
No, everybody cared that he got it.
For 2 seconds, and they moved on. Nothing.
Well, I don't think
happened.
I don't think they'll twice in a year. I would love.
But you have to see who votes for it. And comedians stand by. The people vote in the categories. That you are part of, and comedians stick with each other through a lot of shit.
Well, not the women. I just don't think they'll do it again. It's one thing I don't think they need. I mean, I would love Randy Rainbow, though it'll probably be Chappelle or Gaffigan. I don't really, pay attention to comedy albums. I don't think I've listened to a comedy album since a Richard Pryor record, to be honest with you. I didn't even know they were still a thing. But, all right, continue. Anything else?
Those are the best. We got to
those are the ones.
So what do you think?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, whatever.
Whose year do you think? I think that Beyonce will absolutely win the Dance Awards because people will want to give her something. So they'll be like, boom, she's going to... Terry will win that Best Remix Award because they will see her name, and she's never in that category because we never released any of that great work. This city, she owns all that work too.
It would be a shame if Adele was seen as the safe choice because it is her best record. It really is. It's better than 25, I think.
Well, I think her best record to me was
no, but I'm talking about her best record. But I'm saying
I love 19. Her first album to me still is just this is a very mature work.
It would just be a shame if she was seen as we're going to give it to Adele because she's like, give it to Adele.
Because she's got the album came out, was a huge hit. It sold a lot. It stayed number one around the world. Easy on Me was one of her biggest singles. It stayed number one for a long time. It's her longest running UK number one.
I would just love Bad Bunny to take it. I think it would just be
I don't think it's time to say this is Adele's third album of the year yet.
No, they can't do that. They can't do it. I would love to see Bad Bunny. I'd be happy with Bad Bunny or Harry Styles. I think so too.
I think it's going to be him. As much as I know everybody wants Beyonce to win that award.
No, it's
and
his
I think
moment.
Eventually she will win that award. Just the Bad Bunny burned up the world with this record.
It's his moment.
Took it out on the road.
And he toured on this
stadium show and just...
And you know what, too? And not to and then we can get into other stuff. And you've talked about this. She releases records and then disappears. He's been in our fucking face the entire time, and Harry Styles, and not in a bad way.
I said to a friend, and he was trying to argue with me, like, she doesn't have to. I said, listen, I've worked with a lot of these ladies, including her. I do think, I'm not saying you have to come out and do 1 million interviews, but I have always felt like it is important for your fans to see you when you come time to go to work. And when the only time your fans see you is when, they're paying out hundreds or thousands of dollars on tour. It's like, I get it, but not everybody has that to see you. So it was a dance record, and I would have loved to have seen it came out in the summer. There was so much outdoor stuff and activities and things. And I would have loved to have seen her just pop up somewhere. Like when you disappear, I do think it can be out of sight, out of mind a little bit. But because for what this is to me, I shouldn't say to me, this is one of her biggest streaming albums. Because, it's hard for the artists who come from a sales base, as we've seen, transitioning to a streaming era. I think Mariah has suffered that as being an artist who sells a lot. How do you capture that same energy in a streaming world? But this is one of her bigger streaming records, and it's not left the top regions of the charts around the world. So for that, it could be that you have nothing to go on with this album but the music, right? So that could bring it back to
but the streaming is true, but then Herbie Hancock, you know what I mean? It's like they gave it to Steely Dan, but they don't always, it's still the Grammys. They might pull we're going to give it to, so it can work both ways. Selling a lot obviously is good. And let's keep in mind, it is a TV show. But I'd love to see Bad Bunny do it. I'd love to see it.
I think it's his to lose. To me, it's his to lose.
Me too. I think so too.
Unless the dark horse could be everybody having the Kendrick moment, right? And revitalizing that record. And everyone I know who went to that tour said
I heard it was amazing. Amazing.
It just, they said it was it just was a piece of art, right? So we'll see.
Yeah,
this is a good. I'm not mad at this.
I'm not mad at this.
I've been seeing people are upset. They're like, because Blackpink they felt like was left out, but it's like
there's always something to complain about. You know what I mean?
And I mean, are they? I mean, they're fine, but it's like
they'll be fine. Yeah, and come on.
No one,
yeah,
it's like
I can't tell one K-pop group from the other. There, I said it.
No, what's that one that just had the hit that we were like?
I have no idea. Yeah,
I don't know what's happening.
It's fine. All right. So Dave Chappelle.
I don't even think any people who listen to our show know a lot of those groups too. Like,
no,
because there's something you've known some of the BTS songs. Like, I don't know any of their songs.
If you have kids and you listen to this show, you know the K-pop groups.
Right.
If you have tween girls, you know these guys. Whether you want to or not, you know them. Because they are teen idols. I mean, you know, they're teen idols. And that's just sort of the fact. All right. Chappelle. So Dave Chappelle, it's become sort of a tradition that he does the post-election show.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was the host. They give him like a ton. He's not smoking anymore. You notice that? He's not up there chain smoking.
But he was smoking a bunch in a bunch of the clips. He had cigarettes a bunch.
All right. Not in the monologue, though. He's not smoking. Mm-hmm. You know, they give him a chunk of time.
He had like a 15-minute monologue.
Yeah, no, he always gets, it's just basically he's doing a stand-up set. Okay, so he touched on a lot of different topics. What he talked about with Trump was really interesting. All right, I watched it 3 times. It is funny what he said, and what he said about Kanye and anti-Semitic. There was a grain of humor in it, but there was also the line that literally shut the audience down, and it was silence on television, which is a lot, was when he said, he was talking about Kanye and Kyrie, and he said, I'm sort of paraphrasing, you know, I know Jews have gone through terrible things throughout history around the world, but you can't blame Black Americans for it. And I thought that was so tone deaf, because no one is blaming Black Americans for anti-Semitism. No one. What they're saying is, can you support Jews the way that Jews support? You know, I don't think that. So I thought that was super tone deaf. And there was also some.
But as a Black person, I got to tell you, it doesn't always feel that way. You know,
I've never met any. Yeah.
I feel like there's always been tension sometimes between the two communities, and it's humor, right? And not all of it is funny, and not every joke lands. And the thing that I find interesting is everybody loved it when it was the Chappelle show, Dave Chappelle, and that shit was, you know, everything was nigger, 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 and stereotypes of Blacks, and nobody had any problem with any of that humor. And it was on the line. Some people could even say it crossed the line, and it was seen as funny and brilliant and great. I find it interesting that when he's stepping into the wheelhouse of other areas, then it's not great anymore, right?
Well, but you didn't like the stuff he said about trans.
Well, the weird thing about the trans thing was, what I didn't like was, okay, originally he told the jokes, people didn't like it. And when his reaction to people not liking it seemed to be to make a whole show to go really pointed and be like, you don't like this, so now I'm going to just come at you. And that seemed...
He gets like a little that seemed sort like of an like attack. He gets a little, you know sort what of I mean, like,
for lack of a better word.
That's the problem. I look. There were some of the lines that were sort of funny, but then there was it sort of seemed, and this is some of it. I'm paraphrasing stuff I've read. First off, it sort of seemed like what he was saying is the bad thing is saying it, not thinking it.
Right.
And it was just, I mean, I know humor is supposed to be uncomfortable, but he has positioned himself as more than a comedian now, to his credit. He is no longer, we don't go to Dave Chappelle for yuck, yuck, yuck. You go to Kevin Hart for yuck, yuck, yuck. And that's no diss to Kevin Hart. So he has positioned himself as a very thoughtful, very intelligent, very well thought out commentator on the world, and he's always walked a line. I just thought that some of this stuff, he kind of
It
was
crossed
like,
it to you.
a little bit, though I did find it funny, but it's like the difference between like Italians can make jokes about themselves. It's like one of those things is like the issue with Kyrie, it's more than, I don't know. I thought
Yes,
it was
but I
funny.
feel like it was a commentary, and I'm not looking for my comedians to spit facts, and I always think there's sometimes
But he's
some
more
facts
than a comedian. He is.
But he's still a comedian first. That is his job.
I
How
don't-
people receive him
Right.
is how people receive him. But his job is a comedian. And
Right.
some people are going to find it funny. Listen, I come from an era of my parents playing Richard Pryor records in the house. So like my humor is admittedly way over a line where some people might find some things funny, and
Well,
some
you
things
know
can
that-
be, and some things can be. I'm just speaking about some things can be
Yeah.
offensive to people, and I see the reactions. It's all in how something is said, and if I get the point, and if I can get the sense of irony of what somebody is saying in a joke and how they're saying it, right? I know the difference between somebody standing up there flat out being racist and thinking that that's funny, and then race humor, which these days just makes people uncomfortable, period, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I don't
it just
think
does.
that. I just think that I've always thought that Dave Chappelle, and the thing is, to be fair, he is a comedian, but a comedian does not release a 40-minute lecture at high school students saying, you better think I'm, I mean, he goes both ways.
Well, that's ego, and that, listen, he's very famous. You know what I mean? He's been doing this a long time.
He is a comedian, but he is a different level of comedian. I mean, it's a different, which is fine. I will say, though,
which gives some of those comedians feeling like a little more carte blanche to do more, right? Because most people are scared to say anything now.
I just think that he was funny. I think he came very close in the line. I think the problem is that he has shown his hand on other issues, and sometimes I go, I don't know. I mean, I think that I was tainted his comments about trans people, and I have conversations about trans people. I'm not 100%. I have questions and comments and concern, but I think he just sort of has kind of tipped his hand in a way with some ways that he is viewing things. He is coming at things from a sense of a world that you and I don't live in. So it was a little, but some of it was funny, but I did, walk away with sort of kind of going, all right, I think the world will go on. I don't think it's his responsibility to go up there.
Listen, I'm not a huge fan of most stand-up comedians. I'm not a huge Dave Chappelle fan, but I just do find it interesting that during the Chappelle Show years and the depictions and a lot of characters that he was doing was characterizations. Thank you. I cannot speak today.
Caricatures
of Black culture and Black men, and some of it was very stereotypical and could be offensive to some people, but everybody was laughing and had no issue with that. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like, this has been his humor.
He had an issue with it. That's why he walked away from the show.
And he walked away, but people couldn't understand when he walked away. It was like, oh my God, they had no issue with the humor. So I'm like, he's always been this person.
No, he's always been that
and
guy.
I kind of, these days, Amy, with everybody having to be so politically correct, I'm not mad that we still have motherfuckers who are bold enough to push the line.
Well, I don't think it's politically correct. I don't think you should. I'm not saying he did, but I don't think
this isn't about I just like, because when we talk about freedom of speech and expression, there's going to be some shit that we don't like, but I think you have the right to do it and say it, right?
Yeah, I've never said you don't. I just found
I'm talking about some of the reactions that I've seen online and what people are saying in the universe. And it's like, you're not going to like everything. It's also an adult show. It doesn't come, your kids, it's not a kid's show. It comes on at 11:30 at night. And it's like, we know what you're getting when you watch it.
Well, it was just the fact that there has been this rise in anti-Semitic
absolutely
attacks. I think that's what it was like. If he had been making jokes about Native Americans on the heels of a bunch of Native Americans, bad things, I think everybody would have their back up too. And it's just the climate of the country now. And okay, well, I am very proud of our Dua Lipa. Can I just say that?
Mm-hmm.
So the World Cup is when? 2 weeks? When is it?
I think it starts like in a week and a half or some shit.
So it's in Qatar, which is like, I don't know, like one of the worst human rights offending countries ever.
Where, people
You're being gay, you can go to jail for being gay.
Or the migrant workers that they brought in there are living in really horrible. One of the richest countries in the world, and the people who are coming there to work are being treated like animals.
And basically enslaved, because they bring them in and pay them and then go, oh, and by the way, we're taking your passports and you can't go home.
And pay them very, like...
Dirt wages. Anyway, so of course, FIFA gave them the World Cup, because what better way to reward criminal, anti-humanitarian, capitalist bullshit than to give them the biggest money-making event of the year. Whee! So... Dua Lipa has flat out said, there were rumors she was going to perform like the theme song. She has said no. She is someone who's always spoken out about human rights. But very sadly, and I'm crushed by this, Robbie Williams is performing.
Well, there's a lot of people. It's the World Cup and the countries are performing. It's a really complicated thing, right? Because they're FIFA followers. They support it's national pride. And
when do you take a stand? Yeah. Does Robbie Williams need a
Has Robbie Williams ever taken a stand on anything?
But why not now? You know what I mean?
Because you have to stand up. Because I believe you have to believe in something and stand for it.
Well, I mean, I would like to think that someone who has had a huge gay following certainly would not want to perform in a country where a gay person can go to jail. David Beckham, who, give me a break, everyone, huge gay fan base. Why is he going there to represent?
Okay,
I don't find him attractive.
I'm so glad that you just said that.
I read it on the internet.
Because they've been trying it. All of us gays have been coming right back being like, I don't know why y'all think that. He's not. And somebody called him a gay icon, and the kids went up. They were like, we've always thought he was cute, but he's not an icon to us.
Well,
no, we've never looked at him like and they keep trying to make him that, and neither do most gays.
All right, his wife is a gay icon.
She's darling. She's icon. She's Miss Icon Darling.
So maybe by extension, he's a gay. Yeah,
I mean, he's all right. I mean, we liked his fashion, and he had a frosted tip. He's not posh.
No. And he has a little kind of fake voice.
It's like know your place in the role, David.
Yeah. But I'm just upset, the Black Eyed Peas, of course, who would play at the opening of an envelope. So, of course, they're there.
Oh, mistake. Hold on. Wait. I'm sorry. That was the Black Eyed Peas. They're out on the corner on 139th on the club. They're playing. They just went because they have a new album they literally have an album that just dropped last Friday. So, did you know that? They have a new album. Yeah. Because it's the three guys. They have a new album. And they're outside right now. They just went by on the club.
Tell them I said hi.
Okay. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. I did like that song.
Do you remember? Are you old enough to remember when the Black Eyed Peas were considered an alternative rap
Yes,
group?
and Kim was in it.
Right.
And I have that first album.
Yep.
And they were great. Listen, I'm never going to... I still feel like they were right. They put out a couple of records after Fergie, which have been rap albums that are good records.
And he's a good producer.
Yes.
He is a good producer.
Yes. And they'll be opening up the sandwich shop on 23rd.
Really,
and 10th. It's a World Cup pop-up.
World Cup pop-up. They'll be out there going, let's get it started. They do songs that if you don't speak English, you can sing along with very easily. It's very Euro disco. All right, I'm gonna bring the mood down a little bit, if it's okay with you. And I want to talk about Keith Levene. The death of Keith Levene. So Keith Levene was an original member of The Clash. Has a song on the very first Clash record, What's My Name? And he was a founding member of Public Image Limited, which was he was then John Lydon's group after the breakup of the Sex Pistols. And, when people list like the influential guitarist of all time, Keith Levene's name does not get mentioned, but Keith Levene's name needs to get mentioned because if you listen to Keith Levene's guitar work, there is a direct through line to The Edge from U2. Right. There is no way in hell that they didn't hear those early Pill records, the first Public Image and then the Metal Box. And I can tell you, I remember so vividly, Courtney, because Metal Box, which was Pill's second record, came in a metal box, like a film canister. And it was 3 singles in a film canister. and you had to unscrew it, and the thing
remember
cost a
back when it
fortune.
was fierce packaging when the kids
No,
would give
it was
you, like,
unbelievable.
an
And you
edition
had
of
to
some
like,
shit.
it was
I love
like,
it.
it was like 10 songs. Each song is like 7 minutes long. And
Mhm.
I mean, we must have all chipped in to buy it because it
Right.
was expensive back then.
Mhm.
And I so remember literally it was an event, this record, and I saw them perform in San Francisco. They very famously performed at Great Gildersleeve's behind a screen.
Mhm.
There was like a riot, basically, or maybe that was the Rich Show. Anyway, Keith Levine, he then moved on. He had, drug problems, which is not unusual. Moved to LA, worked with Delicious Vinyl of all
Wow.
people, worked with Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anyway, a phenomenal, listen to those records and that kind of like, just a phenomenal guitar player. And one of these people where doesn't get mentioned, but he passed away last week. And I have been going back and listening to that Public Image stuff, the drone, jaw wobble on bass. It's just phenomenal stuff. So he passed away. And in other kind of sad news, Roberta Flack, there's a documentary coming out about her this week. Is it coming out?
Well, okay, it is where you'll be able to see it. Okay, so there's a documentary that's making its premiere this weekend at the which film festival? It's the DOC NYC, the nation's largest documentary.
It's a big festival.
Yeah, at SVA. And it'll be available for 1 week via the festival's website from November 18th to the 27th. Then it'll be available to the general public on television on January 24th as far as American Masters on PBS. And that's what
great.
Most people will be able to see.
Very prestigious.
Now, let's just say this. And it's great that today's the day the Grammy nominations came out, because I don't think we talk enough about the genius of Roberta Flack. People always go through the list of who are the greatest singers. There's just so many, and there's so many women, especially women, right? We've talked about women who produce and women who write and not getting their due, but there were so many women who are out there writing and producing their music. And Roberta Flack is just, so many people started and worked with her, from Luther Vandross and Donny Hathaway. Just, her writing is incomparable. Those records still stand up, and her voice was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, she's still writing a children's book, and they say with ALS, it's really hard for her to speak. But she was given the keys to the city this summer by our nightlife mayor, Mayor Boogie Downtown. And, she's an icon, and she still lives in the Dakota.
She does, right? Yeah.
And remember, she owned more than one apartment in the Dakota. I think she sold like the other apartment. It was like just an icon with a catalog that is absolutely worth revisiting. We're going to put some songs up on our playlist this week, some Roberta music. But it makes me sad to hear of her journey, but I'm glad that she's still alive and still fighting and still keeping it going. And she has a children's book that she's working on that's coming. And I think this documentary will put her and her music back in the light. And I'm really excited to see it. I've been a fan of her since I was her voice from the time I was a little kid was one of those voices that connected to my ears. Like her voice, Aretha Franklin's voice, Gladys Knight.
She does get forgotten. I think the way Gladys does. I mean, she was somebody who is, her version of First Time Ever I Saw Your Face is just heartbreaking.
You know what I mean?
And that she had.
Feel Like Making Love.
Well, and also that, her biggest success in many ways was when Killing Me Softly,
and then her duets, but it's like her work with people. Bryson.
She does get overlooked in a lot of ways.
They don't talk about her as a songwriter, as a producer, or a singer.
Right.
Roberta Flack sold a lot of records. She was on Atlantic Records for a lot of years.
And was a serious musician,
and then when she kind of came back and made some more records in the late 90s, early 2000s, those were successful as well. She's a very, very talented woman whose catalog completely deserves
It's sad
a
that something sad is going to bring us to, because ALS is a horrible disease.
It's horrible. But I'm very happy there's a documentary coming, because now it's like, let's celebrate Roberta. She's still alive. Let her know that we appreciate the work. We appreciate her music. And that, you know, it wasn't all for nothing. It all stands for something, and we love it, and there's value.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about what we're listening to? Because I can't talk about Elon Musk anymore. Fuck him.
Well, do you know, for some reason,
that's going to be our side show. That's going to be our other show that we do for the underground. For some reason, I have gone back to David Bowie's album Outside, which is one of his... That's the one on Columbia. That was the one on Columbia, right?
Which is... No, I don't think it was on Columbia yet. This was still EMI, and it was the one where the Pet Shop Boys had produced a song for him called Hello Space Boy. And it was one of those really experimental, weird albums that when it came out, people did not get it and like it. And they thought that it was too long, but I've been having a full moment with that album again. And WizKid's new album. You know, I love a WizKid album. He dropped a new album called More Love, Less Ego. Oh, and Glorilla. I've been listening to her Anyways, Life's Great new EP moment. And the Springsteen record.
You know what? I can't be mad at anything Bruce Springsteen does. Bruce Springsteen is a quality prestige artist. If he even when he misses, he doesn't miss by far. This is the music he does. Soul Survivor. It's a covers record. It's, you know, American. It's the American songbook, but soul and R&B and early rock. This is his world. He was a bar band guy. He's 70 something years old. This is his frame of reference. As well, he should do these songs. I happen to be a fan of somebody. If you're going to do a cover, then make it not sound exactly like the original. Because if I want to hear the original, I can hear the original. But that said, you can tell he's having a blast doing this. He looks great. Go for it.
And he must really like it, because he's doing a Tonight Show takeover the entire week. He's hosting the show. He's been doing press. He's been everywhere. I'm like, you like this record because you.
And the kids are out of the house. He's bored. You know, he's got to do something. I mean, you know, Patty's like Patty. Patty's like.
But haven't you been listening to your Nas King's Disease 3?
All right. You know, here's the thing. How often can you think of, and I'm being serious, that an artist back to back in the elder part of his career, right, is putting out these records, King's Disease 1, King's Disease 2, and now King's Disease 3. He's at the top of his game, Nas. And he's not expecting to sell a gazillion records. You know that idiot 21 Savage came out and said, who are you? Where's 20 and 22 Savage?
And weren't they trying to, like 5 minutes ago, your ass was crying because you didn't want them to deport you.
Right. And
now you're talking about Nas, sir. Like, have a seat.
And not only that, somebody said something really funny on social media. They said, does he not understand? Because he was saying, oh, you know, Nas isn't really relevant. He just has a fan base. And somebody said, does he understand that that's what relevancy means? He has a fan base.
It's just like, sir, sit the fuck down.
It's like, shut up. It's like, you know what? There's room for you and there's room for Nas, but for anybody to seriously suggest that Nas is not relevant, these records are great.
I'm so tired of some of these young artists not realizing that it's like, you know what? The world doesn't revolve around your record.
It's not just the artist, Courtney. It's the generational. They think that they think they invented everything. But you and I are huge fans of records with one producer. There is something.
You know me. I love a one producer album.
And that's why the Pusha T record sounded so good. And this is why. This is the thing where Nas always had the intelligence, always had the flow, always had the lyrical, but his production sometimes, and now he's got Hit Boy working with him again. Great record. I can't remember the last time I was like, I can't wait to hear a hip hop record.
Right.
and got excited. So this is just absolutely great.
I'm only having one producer on my album that I'm recording now.
Me
you
too.
know what I mean? It's like
we only have one producer now. Am I correct?
Listen.
Yeah.
My album Ass Passions is going to be amazing. It is just one producer. It's telling the story.
I'm doing the choreography. Am I
you are for the video. Remember, we're going to do the choreography. It's chair choreography. We're going to do soft choreo.
You don't want me standing up.
We don't, because listen.
You know what happens when I stand up? I fall down. And that note, would you like to take us out of here, Mr. Courtney?
Well, guys, guess what? Next week is Thanksgiving. And we do almost 50 shows a year. And we started to realize, we can take off a holiday week.
And life will go on. And by the time we come back, they should know who's controlling the Congress.
Hopefully, actually, no, they won't, because the week that we come back, it still won't be the 6th.
Can I just tell you something? I have now adopted a new philosophy when it comes to our Knicks or any New York sports team. It's the MAGA philosophy. If we win, it's because we're great. If we lose, it's because the other team cheated. So that's it. From now on, we are not going to concede any losses.
Nope. And we're just going to start yelling at people.
We're just going to start yelling.
Person.
So the Yankees won the World Series. The Mets won the World Series, even though they weren't in it. The Knicks are the champions for the last 2 years because the other teams are obviously cheating. That's it. It's the MAGA sports rule. You feel free to adopt it if you wish.
I mean, listen, y'all. You know the deal. Thank you for listening to our show.
Really? Come on, Courtney.
Thank you for listening to our little show. We're on the Pantheon Podcast Network, where you can find a plethora of music talent and their shows. So follow us on the Pantheon Network. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, Deezer, Amazon Podcast, Google Podcast.
Go outside to the Black Eyed Keys World Cup pop-up and talk to them. Go
to the Black Eyed Keys pop-up. They're on the corner. They're on right now. They're in St. George on Staten Island. They'll be there for the next 15 minutes.
They're coming to Brooklyn. I can't wait. I'll put out a spread.
Just shut up. I don't know why I like that song.
I heard Brandy Carlisle discovered them. Is that true?
Well, right now she's waiting for me in the other room because she's like, we have to record our duet of You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man. So I've been warming up my vocals during the show so I can go in there and sing it.
I think that her sexual preference and your sexual preference might cancel each other in that title, but that's just me.
For some reason, I think I might be scared in a room with her sexually because she seems like she might come for my neck and I'd be like, lady, I don't do that. Well, maybe I'll do it twice, but let's just see.
She's very talented. She's a great singer.
She's very talented.
We just need a break.
You know what she reminds me of? Do you remember
don't equate her to any kind of illness or food.
Do you remember when we couldn't escape? And I rise up, I rise up today.
She's way better than her.
No, but she's popping up everywhere like Rise Up.
Yeah, she's becoming the white India Ari.
It's like, that was Andrea. No, what's her name? Andre Day.
Yeah.
That or like when you hear a sad Sarah McLachlan song, then you see like a dog with one eye shivering in the snow in a cage. It's kind of like that.
But she is very talented.
She's very talented.
She just needs to take a little disco nap for a second.
No, listen. I feel like in a minute she's gonna. No,
we're gonna be good.
No, listen, because we can't attack. No, she is very, very talented.
No, she is. I like her music a lot, and she has worked very hard. I mean,
she's no Yoko Ono, but I still.
Thank God.
Listen,
but she's worked hard to get to this artist, and
record.
She's in a genre that is not kind to queer artists. But we just want her to take a break for a minute. Go on Thanksgiving break like we're doing, right?
Well, I don't want a lot for Christmas. It is Mariah season. Mariah has unthawed everyone. FYI. So if you're ready for All I Want for Christmas for the next 6 weeks, You're going to get it whether you like it or not. I've already heard it. I'm like, wow, we're here already. Okay, wow. We're here.
All right. And on that note,
we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.